Coming up on AgweekTV, Farm Group reaction to the midterm elections.
It's the harvest season here in South Dakota. So what do big crops and the ongoing trade war mean for elevators and Main Street?
I'll introduce you to a woman who was battling breast cancer last year and today is harvesting corn.
And a wet fall may affect next year's soybean seed. Welcome to AgweekTV. I'm Rose Dunn. This week's midterm election has many people wondering how the outcome will affect farm policy. It's one of the things they're talking about at the National Association of Farm Broadcasting's annual gathering in Kansas City. Michelle Rook is there and joins us now. Michelle?
Rose, we're celebrating the 75th anniversary of our organization at this year's convention, which brings in more than 700 farm broadcasters and ag industry representatives. The convention offers professional improvement opportunities, networking between farm media and advertisers, plus news coverage of the hottest issues in agriculture, including trade, the Farm Bill, and the midterm election results. Speaking of the midterm elections, with the House flipping to Democratic control and the Senate picking up some Republican seats, how will that impact agriculture? I talked to Washington insiders here at the convention to find out.
What that means is we're going to have to focus on bipartisanship. We need Democrats and Republicans working together to support trade that benefits U.S. agriculture. So when you think about, for example, the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement that President Trump has negotiated, he needs to move that through Congress. He needs Congress to approve it. That means he's going to need Democratic voices supporting it.
We have some new cards that have been dealt to us. I think we'll do fine with the Democratic House. Nancy Pelosi has been a very strong advocate for ethanol, been a strong advocate for farm bills. We've worked with her in the past. She's always called the renewable fuel standard my RFS, and you know that's a great place to have the potential Speaker of the House of Representatives. So I think we'll be fine there. It comes down to, can a Democratic House, a Republican Senate, and a Republican administration get anything done in Washington? It's been hard enough to get anything done when the Republicans have controlled everything. Does a split government work or does it not? We've seen examples of both, where it's worked well and where it's not worked at all. So we'll have to see.
In other Washington news, the Environmental Protection Agency announced this week it has extended the registration for 3 dicamba products for use over the top of soybeans for the next 2 years. The agency also announced changes in the use of dicamba, including a limit on spraying from 1 hour after sunrise to 2 hours before sunset. There is a ban on applications 45 days after planting soybeans, and only certified applicators can apply the herbicide now. A 110-foot downwind buffer will also be required, and state restrictions are under scrutiny. Much of the attention during the ongoing trade war has been on soybean farmers, but grain elevators are also being negatively affected. With a record soybean crop and mounting grain piles in the country, grain handlers are feeling the pain now and will for the foreseeable future. With a record crop and China not buying U.S. soybeans due to the trade war, cash prices are more than $1.50 below last year in the Western Corn Belt.
Last harvest, a lot of beans were $8.80 to $9, so I would call it about $1.60, $1.70.
As a result, farmers are storing soybeans at harvest to wait for better prices, which is uncommon. But surprisingly, they're not storing at the elevator.
With the prices, especially beans, there's more beans being put away in storage. Some farmers are putting more beans in bins that they haven't used in years past. Elevators, I think, are doing the same.
That's negative for farmers, but also grain handlers in the Northwestern Corn Belt.
The elevator side has hurt us really bad. We got some volume shipped, but unfortunately what we're seeing is we don't have a bid just like the farmers don't have a bid, so it's hard to move beans.
So he says more soybeans must be sold in the domestic market.
We got kind of subject to the processor market, which the processors like to buy their products as cheap as possible, which means margins get shrunk for everybody.
He says the other caveat is elevators don't receive a trade aid payment like farmers do.
We have to make ours up either and cut expenses, maybe not handle as many bushels in a year, or even have to let some people go on staff.
And that means less income for elevators and Main Street now and for the next several months. Up next on AgweekTV, we'll head back to the studio where Rose Dunn will have an update on the Ashby elevator theft case.
My name's Joel Kaler, owner-operator of Kaler Farms in Lidgerwood, North Dakota. We make a patented product called a corn stalk guide. Helps guide corn stalks into the grabs in the chains a lot smoother without losing corn. The corn stalk, when it comes off of our product, it's already on the gathering chain instead of being able to hit that idler. Our product will keep all the wear off the snout and get it to come into the head smoother without bouncing.
Nothing holds more promise than a seed. And when it comes from Peterson Farm Seed, it's backed with a promise from us. We'll sell no seed we wouldn't be happy to plant on our own farm, so that growers like Mark can keep a promise of his own, to teach his kids how to care for the land, their family, and their community, and build a future that extends generations. Grow your promise. Grow Peterson Farm Seed.
Upgrade your trailer to electric with the Rolltech electric system from AgriCover. Strong, flexible pivot arms and motor mount rotate and telescope, allowing the roll tube to rise and flex over heaped loads. The positive automatic lock is impossible to back off to control the flow of grain. This integrated system uses one wireless remote to operate up to 10 tarps and hoppers, keeping your driver out of the dust, rain, and harm's way. See the Rolltech system in action at an AgriCover dealer near you.
When harvest comes around, time is precious and you don't have a moment to waste. North Star Ag offers the Lofness GrainLogix Grain Bag Loader to deliver versatile grain storage performance load after load. Lofness's user-friendly grain baggers are easy to load and unload, perfect to get your harvest in the bag. North Star Ag also sells a variety of Valmar spreaders, the leader in air boom delivery, and is a full-service Meridian hopper bin dealer. Visit NorthstarAg.com to see our complete new and used equipment inventory or give us a call.
Small or large, Superior Grain Equipment has a storage solution for you with a wide variety of bin options and accessories, along with site planning and superior customer service. Plus, from top to bottom, we offer the industry's best bins and warranties to protect your products and your grain storage investment. Get superior quality, protection, and reliability with generations of experience and dependability. Make the superior choice today with Superior Grain Equipment.
The defunct Ashby, Minnesota Farmers Elevator has asked a court for permission to start the process of recovering some of the $5 million that was taken from the elevator. The former manager, Jerry Hennessy, has been missing since the theft was discovered in September. He's suspected of embezzling the money. Attorney Eric Algren asked the court to allow him to go into Hennessy's home so he can inventory the contents and determine their value, including a large taxidermy collection. Hennessy's wife has already agreed to allow the co-op access to the property.
Right now, we're just asking the court, through both the agreement with Mrs. Hennessy and the court order, to maintain the status quo, to make sure that assets aren't dissipated. Then we need to get an actual judgment. Once we get an actual judgment, we can then start to take assets or to attach assets for possible sale.
Algren says recovering money for co-op members could take more than a year. Meanwhile, Hennessy's wife Becky has filed for divorce. In the petition, Becky says she hasn't known where Jerry is since September 9th. She says she has no income and most of their assets are in Jerry's name, so she can't access them. She's asking the court to award her $3,500 a month from Jerry's income. The Hennessys have been married for 36 years. One man knows something about the night Jerry Hennessy disappeared. Tim Leonard says Hennessy came to his home in Fergus Falls, Minnesota at 4 a.m. on September 10th, asking for help. He says Hennessy told him there was trouble at the elevator and directed him to drive them away. They drove what Leonard calls a long time before Leonard finally said he had to go back home. Leonard says he didn't know anything about the thefts when they started the trip. Hennessy brought with him a backpack and a box with 4 months' worth of diabetes medication. Leonard says when Hennessy got out of the car, he suggested Leonard should throw his phone in a slough when he got back to Fergus Falls. However, Leonard didn't, and federal investigators confiscated it. Gabe Brown is a successful rancher just outside of Bismarck, North Dakota, but he didn't find success in a conventional way. Brown, his wife, and son run Brown's Ranch. In addition to cattle, they raise sheep, pigs, and chickens, and grow fruit and nuts. And as Jenny Schlecht reports, they use sustainable and holistic farming practices.
You know, our whole focus is on soil health, so we're going to have something growing all the time, as long as possible throughout the year. As soon as we get a crop combined, another one goes in.
Gabe Brown and his wife Shelley are known for their work in soil health. They started farming with her parents in 1983, then bought their farm in 1991.
These fields haven't been tilled since 1993. They haven't seen synthetic fertilizer since '07. They haven't seen any fungicides or pesticides since before the turn of the century. We occasionally use a herbicide, but not very often.
Brown says his operation is much more profitable than when he practiced conventional farming techniques, and his ranch is much more resistant to drought.
Every drop of rain that falls on our operation, it will infiltrate into the soil, and then because our organic matter levels have increased, it's able to be stored there.
Brown advocates for the 5 principles of a healthy soil ecosystem. Has it been tilled or disturbed by synthetic inputs? Is there a residue armor on the soil surface protecting it from erosion? Is there diversity of crop species? The last 2 principles are living root and animal integration. Now the Browns are focusing their operation on the future, making it a viable operation for their son Paul. It was Paul who suggested they add more livestock and market the meat and eggs directly to consumers.
One thing that we like to do is have an open door policy where anyone can come out. They just need to give me a call, and if they want to come see other foods raised, then we'll gladly show them around.
As his son prepares to take over, Gabe Brown is transitioning away from farming to helping others adopt more of his principles. Near Bismarck, this is Jenny Schlecht for Ag Week.
Jenny will have much more on this story in the next Ag Week magazine. Up next on Ag Week TV, we'll go back to Michelle at the National Farm Broadcasting meeting in Kansas City, where 3 major ag groups are pledging to be more environmentally friendly. And we'll have your agri-weather outlook for the week.
Titan Machinery is excited to announce its 2018 Customer Appreciation Sales Event. Save up to 30% on filters, tillage sweeps, and other essentials, November 14th through 30th. Your local Titan Machinery store will also host a one-day event between now and Thanksgiving with additional specials and to introduce you to Titan Value Pro Parts, their value price line of replacement parts. Watch for your invitation or contact your local Titan Machinery dealer for details on how you can lock in the lowest prices of the year.
Giving farmers access to data from the elevator right in their pocket, helping them make better decisions. No more keeping track of paper scale tickets. Innovation. It's always been a part of the farming culture. Integrating directly with elevators to give growers real-time information, all through a mobile app. Your elevator, powered by Bushel.
Martinson Ag Risk Management offers a variety of crop marketing and crop insurance packages to our customers. With over 40 years of experience, our dedicated staff works hard to ensure you get the best advice on crop insurance, marketing, and risk management. Contact Randy or any of the staff at Martinson Ag Risk Management today at 701-205-4200 or visit us online at martinsonag.com.
My name's Joel Kaler, owner-operator of Kaler Farms in Lidgerwood, North Dakota. We make a patented product called the Cornstalk Guide. It's made out of UHMW, ultra-high molecular weight poly, which is extremely durable. Typically what you'll see on corn heads is the idler chain in the sprocket sticks out. We attach to the side of a snout. Our product will keep all the wear off the snout and get it to come into the head smoother without bouncing.
Advanced Grain Handling is your regional dealer for grain handler dryers, bins, and accessories. With Grain Handler's continuous mixed flow drying systems, you're capable of high levels of grain dryer efficiency on all types of grain, including seed grain. Advanced Grain Handling also carries West Steel's quality stainless steel products for on-farm and commercial grain storage solutions. Advanced Grain Handling has licensed and trained service techs and a licensed electrical shop. Get a hold of Chad Kylo to find the perfect solution for your farm.
Welcome back. A major industry announcement was made here at the NAFB convention as the United Soybean Board, National Corn Growers Association, and National Pork Board are coming together to collaborate on sustainability. Farmer leaders signed a memorandum of understanding that will set a baseline for sustainability and ways to measure the outcomes, which will benefit producers and consumers.
This will benefit soybean farmers because it'll help us benchmark where we are And the message that we want to relay to all farmers is the idea of continuous improvement as far as sustainability and validating what we do.
And sustainability is not really one thing in particular. It's not maybe just water, or energy use, or greenhouse gas emissions, but it's really what can we do collectively to show progress forward on a little bit of everything. And that's really how we're approaching it. How are we producing more with less? And so that's really the approach that we're looking at collectively now, is what are the things that we can all agree on that are common between the three organizations, and then leverage them going forward.
The leaders of the organization say their customers are demanding that they be sustainable and provide proof of that claim, and that will drive this project going forward. Farmers continue to chip away at the harvest. However, progress, especially on soybeans, is still behind in the Western Corn Belt. U.S. corn harvest is now 3/4 complete and in line with the 5-year average. However, in the region, South Dakota is still lagging by 11% and North Dakota is 13% behind normal pace. U.S. soybean harvest is still almost a week behind schedule. However, the Western Corn Belt has caught up and is only lagging by 4% in Minnesota to 11% in North Dakota. So will the weather cooperate to get done with the remainder of the harvest? We'll find out in your AgriWeather forecast.
Harvest conditions are looking a little better despite the fact that many areas of North Dakota have had snow on the ground and are getting some additional snows from time to time. Overall, we're looking at a colder, yes, but also mainly dry weather pattern going forward. So if we can keep the snows off the crops, we should be able to get them harvested. And further south and east where there isn't any snow, things are in much better shape. Scattered snows, though, are part of a problem with this forecast period. At the moment, time being, jet stream way down south, then meandering through the east. Very cold air this weekend has dropped into the northern plains. Most of the Midwest just cool, but it's fairly cool over a large area because of the jet stream going so far south this week. There's Wednesday, Thursday. By the end of the week, we're going to start to see this cold weather relax into the Dakotas as the jet ridges up a little bit in the western United States. Although it will remain fairly cool in the east, there will be some breaks. As we move into the second week now, this is going to be Thanksgiving week. A little push may give us a little bit of thawing weather sometime around that weekend or the first couple of days in the week before Thanksgiving. However, patterns are expected to begin to shift to troughing back to the west, which could yield another cold snap sometime late around Thanksgiving or perhaps in the few days following. So it's not like it's going to stay warm forever. Scattered areas of snow around the Great Plains will give way to an East Coast rain system, and some of that may affect the eastern Corn Belt, but the general trend here is for a big drying out. Cool and dry for the second part of the week and on into the weekend. The only serious rain coming into the Pacific Northwest. For Thanksgiving week, as the pattern shifts around, the dry weather shifts to the warm spot, and there will be a few little snows that'll have a chance to drag across the northern plains. That could mean the snow that really starts the permanent snow cover of winter. Of course, we don't know that for certain. We'll watch and see.
Mayo Manufacturing, your Red River Valley source for Batco. Mayo Manufacturing, your Red River Valley Batco dealer.
Stein Seed Company is home to one of the most prolific, highest-yielding corn and soybean breeding programs in the world. When it comes to research, yield is what matters most. With the largest private soybean breeding program in the U.S. and the industry's most aggressive corn research, Stein is in a class of its own when it comes to developing new, higher-performing seed. Choose genetics. Choose results. Give Shane Kylo a call at 701-866-9864 to learn what Stein Seed can do for your operation.
Add more bushels to your hopper and money to your pocket by harnessing the power of air with Crary Wind Systems. Whether your beans are chest high or barely off the ground, Crary offers two solutions that add a constant stream of high-velocity air to quickly feed crop back to the auger, eliminating bunching, reducing shatter loss, and increasing your ground speed. Don't let crop conditions dictate your yield. Check out the Crary Air Reel or Crary Wind System today.
With the all-new GreenFit system from Reichhardt, plug and play is finally a reality when using John Deere AutoTrack guidance with existing new products like the Challenger 1000 series or all-new C-Series row gators from Butler Machinery. GreenFit is an authorized navigation interface that utilizes existing John Deere AutoTrack guidance system to steer most Challenger tractors and sprayers. GreenFit eliminates the worry of learning and converting to a new steering system when buying an industry-leading Challenger from Butler Machinery. Learn more about GreenFit at butlermachinery.com.
Ag Week is excited to bring you the Ag Week app with useful features and the latest news and information right at your fingertips. Get your Ag Week news, weather, and the latest episodes of AgweekTV. Plus, see real-time information on the futures market and view local cash bids for your crops. Stay updated and take Ag Week with you wherever you are. Download the Ag Week app today.
Farmers know that some times of the year there's no time for getting sick. Kara Myers was diagnosed with breast cancer about a year ago, just as harvest was getting underway. But this year she's back at it. Katie Pinky climbed in the grain cart to chat with her about her journey.
We farm and we also have a fertilizer business, and it was just getting too much for my husband to handle on his own, so I made the decision to leave the corporate world and join Jay in our farming operations. I manage all our financial operations, but during spring and fall, I'm out in the field helping however I can to get the crops in.
She's been adding more roles all the time as time goes along, but today she's running the grain cart.
So tell us about your stress last year. 1 week before we started full harvest, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Quite shocking. You know, they say you become very strong when strong is your only option, and I truly believe that, you know, that's what happened to me. My biggest fear, I guess, was harvest. You know, it's 1 week before harvest, and I worried about Jay really more than I worried about myself.
We stopped soybean harvest the day she had her surgery so we could be at the hospital with her. My daughter Abby was there too, and then she said, well, Abby's here, so you need to get back and go harvest after she was in recovery, you know.
I just feel very thankful that really in a matter of 3.5 months, I was done with my surgery and with radiation. We made it through harvest, and look where you are now. Life goes on, and you're back in the grain cart the next year.
So I want to talk about the mammogram, because for a lot of rural women, especially the week before harvest starting, it would be easy to just write that off and say, I'm going to go later.
I just can't stress how important it is that, you know, you do your timely mammograms.
What type of advice would you give to women, any type of woman facing this type of diagnosis?
Every one of those people that I reached out to assured me that, Kara, this would soon be a memory. 1 year later, it really is a memory.
This year, harvest is better with Kara back full time?
Yeah, I think last year she wanted to be out there, you know, but the doctors told her she couldn't be, so I think she's glad she's able to come back and help again.
And are you glad?
Yeah.
Ahead on Ag Week TV, harvest isn't even done, but it's time to start thinking about next year's seed.
This is Dennis Belisky reminding you we do auctions and we do them well. You've built your operation with hard work, and when it's time to sell, all or part, you deserve the best. Details from repairs and preparation to promotion and settlements are not routine. Chances are you'll only do this once, so we'll tailor an auction just for you and get it done right. On site at your farm or added to one of our highly successful Alaris Center auctions, we have the skill, reputation, and integrity to meet your needs with best-in-class commitment and quality service. Find us at resourceauction.com or call 701-757-4015.
Big Boy Toys.
Stephus, We have representatives everywhere. Through North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa, and Minnesota, we can find a buyer for what you are selling. We know how to market your farmland or equipment. Give us a call. We'll sit down and tell you all about the Steffes way.
Where do you go for the latest news in agriculture? AgWeek magazine. Reaching over 70,000 farmers and ranchers in North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota, and Montana. AgWeek provides the most up-to-date information on the markets, the trends, and the people who make it all happen. We're your source for news, not fluff. Dependable, trusted. AgWeek. Subscribe today by calling 1-800-811-2580.
Every year, 40% of all food in the U.S. never gets eaten.
40%. That's almost half the food we produce.
Food waste is a serious problem. It impacts all of us.
And it's expensive. Your family is throwing $1,500 a year in the trash.
We're working hard to put food waste on the chopping block.
And you can do the same at home.
Learn how to cook it, store it, and share it.
Just don't waste it.
Go to SaveTheFood.com.
AgweekTV Soy Insight, brought to you by the North Dakota Soybean Council.
Soybean harvest isn't even wrapped up for everyone, but it's already time to be thinking about what to plant next year. That's the advice from the director of NDSU's Agronomy Seed Farm. Brian Otteson says he's concerned about seed quality and supply after this wet fall. And he says it's especially important to pick the right variety that's well suited for a particular area. Otteson says growers need to research the new varieties over the next few months. There are hundreds to choose from, including 2 new glyphosate-tolerant varieties released over the last couple of years by NDSU.
There's always a lot of new varieties coming out, and with this time of the year, a lot of the data is still being analyzed. So I think over the winter months now, a lot of that information will come out, and I would just encourage growers to stay tuned and listen for what is coming out for springtime.
For more information, Otteson says you can search NDSU variety trials online. Environmental groups are currently petitioning the EPA to change the land use formula for ethanol in the renewable fuels standard. However, that's not even a concern with biodiesel. That's because biodiesel production uses the excess soybean oil that comes from crushing soybeans for meal, and that makes it sustainable.
In the consequence of harvesting protein, we harvest more fats and carbohydrates than we can possibly eat. So soybeans are great at producing protein. They also produce a lot of oil. We consume some of that oil for food, but we have to find industrial uses for the rest of that. So that's where biodiesel comes in.
Biodiesel also lowers greenhouse gas emissions by 80%. Currently, the U.S. produces 2.8 billion gallons of biodiesel per year, which utilizes 6 billion pounds of soybean oil. Thanks for watching this week's edition of AgWeek TV. Remember, for all your ag news, go to agweek.com or download the AgWeek app, and be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. We'll see you next week.